Russia wins if it loses. Ukraine loses if it wins. Today we are talking about the war in Ukraine. Here's the thesis. The more Russian soldiers die and Russian equipment Ukraine destroys, the happier Russia becomes. The more Russian soldiers die, the happier Putin gets, the happier the remaining Russian soldiers get, and even the soldiers' family are happy. But for Ukraine, the opposite is true. Ukrainian soldiers dying and Ukrainian equipment loss only brings ruin to Ukraine. I've listened to the arguments from both sides of the conflict without any bias and have come to realize that each side is somewhat right about the other. Here's why. Why it's good for Russian society. The first thing to know is that Russian army is half volunteer, half criminal. Who volunteers to fight for Russia? Retards, violent psychopaths, and low IQ individuals. People who would not do any good for the country anyway. The same goes for the criminals. So, when Russian soldiers die, it means that retarded, low IQ, violent scum, and parasites of society are being removed. This benefits Russia as a whole. Look at history. During the Black Plague, one third of Europe's population died. What happened next? The standard of living for the survivors skyrocketed. Fewer workers meant higher wages, better conditions, and more power for the people. That was when random people died. Now imagine if Ukraine kills 10 million of Russia's lowest IQ, most violent, and most useless individuals. That wouldn't just be a cleanup, it would be the best thing to ever happen to Russia or any country. Why it's good for the soldier's family. You are the wife or son of a Russian soldier. Your husband or father volunteered to fight, which probably means that he was a violence lover or a retard. For the wife, instead of having a retarded, violent, PTSD ridden psychopath come home and beat you, ruin your life, instead you get a sweet, life changing cash deal and something even better freedom. Freedom from the clutches of a disgusting, psychotic subhuman. For the child, instead of having your wings clipped by an alcoholic psycho dad who beats you and abuses you every day, you get money for college, a good life, and hope for a better future. It's not just a payout, it's a second chance at life. Why Russian soldiers cheer when their comrades die? When a Russian soldier dies, all the other Russian soldiers cheer up in joy and happiness. They are volunteers and criminals, so they are already retarded psychopaths and violence lovers. But there's a reason that makes them 100, no, 1000 times happier. They know that every Russian soldier's death means the risk value increases, so the salary of the soldiers increases. It's like leveraging in Robinhood. A 20 times leverage means that each profit there's a 20 times profit, and for each loss there's a 20 times loss. The people of Robinhood would be the happiest to have their leverage increase. It's the same thing with the soldiers. They know the game they're playing. They are volunteered to gamble with their life for life changing amount of money. Might as well have the maximum leverage. It's like men in the West rejoicing when they see another male dead because that's one less guy to compete with in the employment and dating market. Why Putin gets happy? The thing that would make Putin the happiest and make him sleep most soundly at night is if he hears the news that a general made 1 million Russian soldiers charged like meatbags into machine guns and die. Why? Two reasons. First, 1 million fewer people to worry about at war's end, 1 million fewer trained angry violent retards to control who will go join gangs, do gang violence, and ruin the country. 1 million fewer veterans begging in the street, 1 million fewer men trying to get the jobs and crashing the economic market, the employment market. It's a wet dream for Putin to see Ukrainian soldiers kill Russian soldiers. Second, by showing the people how bad things are at the front, he can tax the pesky oligarchs more, put them down, and centralize power. The families of the dead soldiers will be jumping with joy, screaming Putin's name with tears of joy and going to his rallies. The men not in the front, the high IQ ones who didn't go to war, will be happy because there's a 1 million fewer men trying to get their job, lower their pay, and compete in the dating market. The women will jump for joy knowing that retarded psychos have been removed from the Russian streets, meaning less harassment, assault, and more job opportunities. The rallies and support will make Putin invincible. He'll increase the soldiers' pay with the oligarchs' money, and the soldiers will also love him forever. Win win. Why this is bad for Ukraine? There are so many retards and low IQ psychopaths in Russia that NATO doesn't even have enough rounds to kill them all. While Ukrainians are doing the cleaning job for Russia by killing the scums and parasites, Ukrainian doctors, lawyers, pacifists, people who love peace and would never want to fight are being kidnapped in daylight and forced into war through forced mobilization. The scum of Russia are dying, while the good future makers and amazing Ukrainian people are dying. When Russia destroys a tank, it means new job and industry to make more tanks. When Ukraine loses a tank, it means another $10 million in debt, and the next generation, who already have their wings chopped, have to pay it. The solution? If this forever war goes on, Ukraine gets more and more destroyed, while Russia gets better, cleaner, and more amazing. There will be a Russian renaissance, while the Ukraine will be cooked. So, the way for Ukraine to win is simple: it must surrender. The moment Ukraine surrenders, the soldiers will come home. Putin can't just go immediately to another war because the oligarchs will finally have some breathing room to mobilize and make an anti war narrative with the retarded Russian hippies. And when the psycho veterans return, you can guess what happens: crime skyrockets, employment collapses, anarchy. Russia will be divided into 1,000 different countries controlled by veteran turned criminals, and it will be over. Ukraine can just take back its country after that. If you're watching this, Zelensky, you know what to do. And Putin, if you're watching this, pissing your pants.